2018. What a year. Personally, that was a year I finally felt like an adult. Got my first job, collected my first salary, and 1 month out of that year I was maidenless, cause for the other 11 I was off the market. And within the gaming world 1 year prior, we all discovered why Zelda breath was smelling wild, and we all accompanied Mario on his border hopping adventures to new kingdoms on his quest to get some of that sweet peaches. And we all were cursed with the gaming equivalent of Baltimore, Sonic Forces, aka the game that shall not be named. But by the end of 2017, me and both the world had one game on our minds going into 2018, God of War. All aboard the hype train. This game needs no introduction whatsoever. For Christ's sakes, it won Game of the Year that year. We all know the story of old man Kratos and boy. So to catch your asses up to speed, this man Kratos by the end of God of War 2018 killed Magni, Modi, Connor McBalder, pissed off Freya and all the Aesir gods, informs boy that he's a god as well too, spread Mama Fefe's ashes and uncovered the secrets of the giants, and also found out that the boy's name is Loki as well. And they also uncovered a grim prophecy that the fate of Kratos is that he will be dying in the arms of boy. And oh yeah, we got Mimir as well too. After God of War 2018, the world was hyped for what was to come. And in 2020, Sony dropped an announcement trailer that's saying simply, Ragnarok is coming in 2021. And my boy, I was hyped. And then it was delayed by a year for holiday 2022. But my good sir, we were still hyped because we was going to be eating good this Christmas. The game dropped on November the 9th, 2022, and I deadass called off sick on work because my boys, I have no time for that. Right now I'm trying to be a god. And for the next 2 weeks, my wife didn't see me because I was knee deep in these 9 realms. And one of the most captivating stories I've ever experienced. This game literally made me feel things that I've never felt before playing any other game. The visuals, the music, the stories, the characters. Oh boy, the characters. Game of the year in my opinion. And you there viewer may be asking, what exactly did this game make you feel, future? And I will say that what we here today, my brethren and sisters, because today I will share my likes, dislikes, although very minimal, and also my opinion of God of War Ragnarok. Alright, we all know how this is go. First off, we have to talk about the character models. So I will run through them real quick. First off, Kratos. I know the devs rebuilt his model from the ground up, which they honestly didn't have to do, but that is great regardless. One thing I noticed with him, his beard is a few inches longer, but his model is great overall. Atreus. Oh boy. Atreus looks more like Sunny Soldic than Sunny Soldic looks like Sunny Soldic. The character modelists, I really don't know if that's a word, nailed that awkward teen look like when you're in that transition between being a boy and being a man. For me, loved it. Mimir. He's a head, but not with braids in his beard. Nothing more, nothing less. Brock and Sindri basically looks the same, didn't see any difference with them to be honest. Freya also, although she looks damn great in this game as well too. Hashtag Freya is beer. Thor. Love this take on Thor. Was tired of the jack muscular pretty boy version of Thor we've been getting for the past few years. But back in 2018 I know for a fact Thor was going to be in the next game. And I said to myself, I want a badass version of Thor. I want Thor to be an ass kicker. I want Thor to be a head basher. I want Thor to be a destroyer. And that's exactly what we got. Love Thor and his big belly. Oh, next up, Odin. I saw someone online talking about they don't find Odin all that intimidating. That's because, newsflash, he's not supposed to be. Odin isn't a fighter, he isn't a warrior. He's an old man that prides himself on wisdom. If he finds himself in a situation where fist needs to be thrown, he's a silver-tongued devil. He will talk his way out of that situation and he will stab his adversary in his back. His design, his speech, his cadence conveys that perfectly. This is excellent and I love his design. And that's it for all the major characters in the game. I know there's a lot more, but I'll get to the rest of them as I go through the story. Speaking of which, spoiler warning immediately. If you don't want the story spoiled for you, step away, click off, go and play the game, come back to this review because I'm trying to get these watch hours up and these subscribers up. Okay? But anyways, click off if you don't want to be spoiled at this moment. Thank you. For all of you savages who remained and want to watch through the video, greatly appreciate it. Let's go. So the game starts off with Kratos and Atreus going hunting for deer. And look at old boy over here catching his old day and shit. This ain't no boy no more. This is a man right here. Then they look to shake the spot and head home. I was like, this is a nice start. Father and son hunting together, bonding, you know. Great. But we get to enjoy all 5 seconds of that because old bird bitch Freya here come attacking your boys on some craziness. And look at her. She ain't letting up at all. This woman be tripping. They fight her crazy ass off and make it home safely. And then the next scene, boy. I know this would have been a more emotional game, but oh gosh boy. Not my boy Fen. After losing a dog recently, and by recently I mean more than 2 years, I still haven't gotten over that to be honest. R.I.P. to McGill Cleakley, put some respect on her name. This scene right here got to me. But while the wolf was dying, we see some light silently flies off into his knife and the rest floats off into the air. And Kratos being Kratos, he was like, boy, you know what would help with this loss? Some training. And Atreus rightfully so was like, boy, are you mad? I ain't doing no damn training. That's all we do all damn day. We wake up, train, sleep, train, eat, train, sun hot, train, grass too tall, train. I ain't doing no damn training right now. Don't leave me the hell alone, I'ma bury my damn dog. So Kratos just walks off and enters his home where we see Mimir crusty ass writing or maybe exercising his jaw or something. Then hops his ass into bed. When my boy starts dreaming, and then we were introduced for the first time to McGill, Faye. And I was like, damn! Kratos has actually pulled that body. We get to see a little nice interaction between Faye calling him Grumples and Kratos being as stoic as a stone as usual. Then Faye went all ghosts and goblins on the ass and completely vanishes out of thin air. And talking about there isn't much time and there's much to do, and then slaps some honey mustards on man's forehead and sends him back on his way kicking and screaming. He wakes up realizing Atreus ain't back home yet and is way past his curfew. So him and Mimir goes out looking for him, where they notice a bear attack and a trail of blood. They follow the trail of blood through a raiders camp where they meet a dead end. Then Kratos gets slapped upside the head by said bear, and Funk was on side because this bear was ready to throw some paws. And well, we all know how this was going to go. And don't get me wrong, the bear had him in the beginning, but Kratos molly whopped the shit out of this bear, hitting him rights and lefts and elbows to the neck. But after whooping said bear's ass and almost snapping his neck, we see the bear transforming into none other than Atreus. And I was like, damn! All I could be thinking about is Kratos whooping the shit out his own son and almost breaking his neck. One little touch I like from in God of War 2018, I think the first thing Atreus asked Kratos when he told him that he was a god is if he could turn into animals. And guess what, bucko? Congratulations, you get exactly what you wanted and it almost cost you your life. We almost had to bury your ass next to your boy Fen. R.I.P. Fen. R.I.P. Cleakley. So anyways, they head back home and they go straight to bed. Then we see the most famous cutscene from the end of 2018. Thor fat ass showing up. And I was like, boy, here it comes, the smoke. I was looking forward to this. But Thor talking about he brought some mead. Ain't nobody want none of that cheap shit. We only be sipping on Henny and Moet down here. They make him come in and set his old whale blubber back ass down. So Kratos was like, why are you here? And Thor talking about he's just being polite. And in my mind I was like, let's cut to the BS and get to scrapping now. And the game was like, hold on future boy, hold on. You gotta make way for the OG. Then the top dog Odin pulled up to the stop like a top G. He wasn't playing no games, he just sat down sipping everybody's drink, spreading his gangster throughout the house, and he was like, hey let me get this straight for all of y'all. You killed my grandson, you killed my son, and your little loin sprout over there been looking for tea. And Atreus over there like, But hear this, all I want is peace. Let's make a deal. All you gotta do is stay home, relax, enjoy retirement. Your boy over there needs to stop looking for tea because he's dead. And really and truly, all of y'all need to stop because ain't none of y'all ready for the smoke. Better yet, I'll sweeten the deal for y'all. Y'all can keep the head and I'll get my child mother off your back. So what you say, Kratos? Then Kratos stands up and this man basically just hit him a Bugs Bunny Lara Croft special and that straight up says, No. Walks behind Thor and said, don't take all day. And I was like, let's go! Y'all thought Balder was the shit? Thor straight up that uppercut Kratos with Mjolnir.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air.
And I was like, damn! This thing's starting to heat up. Although, hold on. One minor nitpick. The game should have started with this from the jump. As I press new game, BAM! Immediately. Hammer to the face. Yes. I'm just making joke to be honest. All I'm trying to say, this first section of the game could have been a little shorter. But let's be honest, this part right here was on all of us' mind for the past 4 years. I was ready to get it straight away. So Thor and Kratos was scrapping all over the Lake of Nine in a banger of our first boss battle, with Thor talking heavy grease during the fight, telling Kratos how much of a deadbeat dad he is, with the fight concluding with Kratos channeling his inner Captain Falcon and lighting up this man's jaw with a Falcon punch. Thor was like, alright, I see you, you gangster enough, but I'ma be seeing your ass later to run this back. Then Kratos ends up hurrying back home because Odin is alone with Atreus. Then he finds Atreus and Mimir hiding out at home. And Atreus talking about Odin invited him to Asgard and he said no, in one of the most least convincing voices I ever heard. And Kratos was like, forget all that, I'm trying to understand why I've been looking for Tyr behind my back. And Atreus out here trying to do the most to make his father trust his dusty ass back again by showing him what he found. So they carried their dusty asses back to the old temple in the woods that we found in the first game where it had the first shrine. Side note, I love the way that they made something that was like a side quest collectible in the first game in the shrines becoming a major story element in this game. It just feels right and makes sense that the giants are hiding something in plain sight. So the shrine opens up and they enter into this yellow, golden, sandy dimension where they see a prophecy, where Tyr is leading an army in Ragnarok. And Atreus said he saw some clues that Tyr is being imprisoned in a land of black smoke and bleeding earth. And the crow deduces that this must be Svartalfheim. You know what? Dwarfworld. They need to go to Dwarfworld to find some other dwarf named Derlin, a old friend of Freya, and he will help us find Tyr. So we then head over to Sindri houses and I ain't gonna lie, brother have a nice spot here. So we upgrade what we had to upgrade and we are off to Dwarfworld. And I ain't gonna lie, this place is beautiful. From the wetlands to the dwarf village to the open waters to the islands that isn't really an island because it's an actual damn whale. This is the first new realm you get to visit in this game. And Dwarfworld was actually very good. Not my favorite, don't worry, we'll get to that. But basically it consists of bays and shores and islands. Correction, whales. Got a lot of cool stuff to do and a lot of lore to discover. The impact Mimir crusty ass had on this realm because he was the one who manipulated the dwarfs into working for Odin and enslaving this poor whale as well too so they could get some precious oil for the lamp from its blubber. Sick man Mimir, sick. We then find Derlin's crusty ass and from the jump he was already talking the highest levels of shit, asking some dumbass questions to piss me off, and this man has the audacity to give me a damn fine as well too. But I was about to slap the shit out of this man, but afterwards he proved his word by giving us a map to find Tyr instead of a fine. You're damn right because I was about to hit this boy a 5-piece compo and re-split open that egghead of his, and I don't even know if re-split is a word. Then we venture our asses into the mine, and then we get jumped by some hood frogs that was upset because we were sep tripping. Then the game does straight up get vaccinated for troll videos 19, cause if this wasn't a clear indication that this game ain't going to be getting no trolls in it, I don't know what is. We then enter the mine proper by solving some simple puzzles. And then I was getting a little aggravated by the puzzle solving mechanics of this game. Mind you, I've been noticing this since back in the wetlands, but I know you all know where I'm going with this. For the love of dog back, if after one extra to solve a puzzle and you either miss or don't solve the puzzle on that first extra, and after hear my mate's crusty ass saying, no brother, you have to take the spear and shove it up your ass brother, Jesus Christ, shut up. Oh, what your dumb ass laughing at a Atreus? You ain't no different with that messed up hairline you got there. You ain't gonna get no hoes with that hairline. And what your crazy ass laughing at Freya? You ain't no different either with them dusty ass toes you've been walking all over the place exposing it to people. But all jokes aside, this legit pissed me off to be honest. Because come on, give me a chance to make a mistake. Give me a chance to be in control. Give me a damn chance to learn and think for myself. What's even more insulting is that this so-called puzzle ain't even that difficult to be honest. Some weenie hot junior ass puzzle they giving me and they have the audacity to be holding my hand to solve them. Come to think about it, I don't even think this used to happen in the previous game. So Ragnarok, you have no excuses and you don't need to say sorry. You just need to be better. If there's going to be any future game, you need to fix this shit right here. So anyways, we make our way deeper into the mine and solving more puzzles. Then we get to meet the man of the hour. The man that was built up so much in the previous game. Bitch ass Tyr. I was like, good God, come on. Why'd I have to do mans like that? After so much I build up throughout the last game, we keep hearing Tyr. And when we do get to meet him, he nearly dookie his own pan death by the sight of Kratos. We then chase him down and corner him, and Kratos basically had to slap some sense into him to make him come to. But honestly, me personally, playing the game and looking at every detail along the way, something wasn't on the up and up with Tyr with me, but more on that later. We then look to leave Dorful and get more evidence that Tyr is a bigger bitch than we thought. But everybody makes it back to Sindri's house safely. And everyone wasn't happy to see Tyr, to be honest, rightfully so, on account of him being a big and total bitch. But I digress. Everyone turns in for the night and looks asleep, but Atreus out here looking to do some dumb shit by going and visit Freya. Side note, me being a proud Trinidadian, we are curious by nature. As we Trini say, we are quote unquote fast, meaning we always want to be in the know and we always meddling in some stuff we have no damn business being in. But also as a Trini, we have a limit to that shit. We know how to strike a perfect balance of being very nosy but minding our own damn business at the same time. But Atreus and his crooked hairline ain't know how to strike a damn thing, because this boy was walking straight into death. Because Sindri was the only one with that damn brain trying to show Atreus the valuable lesson of effing around and finding out. Cause the more you F around, the more your ass is going to find out. But Atreus' ass ain't gonna listen and he still left. And at this point I was waiting for the camera to pan back to Kratos and resume playing. But to my surprise, the game was like, hold up, ain't you spent $60 on this game? I'ma give your ass your money's worth. Because you was now playing as Atreus, which is great. So basically, let me break it down for you. It's Aloy from Horizon, with better melee attacks but less arrow options, to put it simple. And he takes a little adjusting too, because he's a little more nimble than his father, cause after all Kratos be having some bad knees. But for this first run with Atreus it was good. But not good to the point where I was afraid that it would have overstayed welcome, because to be frank, I preferred playing as Kratos. But anyways, along the way they called out to Yomenganta, and homeboy was straight up like, I'll put on a little Trini slang for all here. Brother man, go to Ironwood and relax day. That's all I basically had to say, you know. We go link later soul there. Atreus confused as ever, cause ain't no one know where or what Ironwood is. But still they continued along the way to find Freya. Atreus hops into the council of the Valkyries and a round of applause was following him, because at this point, my ass cheeks would have been clapping out of fear. Alright, hold up. Right here, I immediately got pissed off with some of the writing of this game. This kid and his father unnecessarily killed your son snapping his neck like a damn toothpick. And the first thing you look to do is wrap him up in some roots and have a chat? What the ass is this? I'm surprised Freya didn't have some tea and crumpets prepared, because after wrapping him up with the roots, she let him go and they just had a casual conversation. This right here makes no sense to me whatsoever. Alright, so hear me out. God of War in my opinion is Game of the Year. I know Elden Ring won, because I'm writing this part of the script after the Game of Awards. But God of War is Game of the Year in my heart, as corny as that sounds. But this right here was a bit of lazy writing for my part. Because having a good story is one thing, but having a good story that makes sense is a whole different thing. If I, or anyone for that matter, was Freya, on sight, I was sending his ass into some sliced ham. This right here actually got me upset, because I'ma save my anger for a later part of the game for similar reasons, and I'm sure you all know where I'm talking about. So after swapping exposition about Tyr being alive, his mother being a giant, him being a giant as well too, and Jotunheim having no giants, and also letting her know Odin's old ass was in Midgard as well. And Freya was like, hey, thanks for all the info, but right now you don't have to go home, but you just have to get your ass out of here. So Atreus and Sindri regroups and head back home, trying to play it cool and trying to look not all that suspicious. And then his father asks him, where were you? And instead of giving him a sensible answer, he could have been like, I was out clearing my head, or was just outside doing a bit of training. This man straight up said he was peeing. As a prayer, I would have slapped the sweat off your neck for giving me such a dumb response. Peeing? A matter of fact, I was disappointed in Kratos for even buying that lame excuse. So they discussed their next move, and Tyr and Kratos came up with the idea of going to Alfheim to seek grow a shrine at the top of the Light Temple. And to me, I was like, Alfheim? I had to go and see those annoying ass Dark Elves again? Fun fact, Alfheim was my least favorite section of the last game in 2018. But to my pleasant surprise, Alfheim was in the same Alfheim we visited 4 years ago. Alfheim is a desert now. And if anyone knows me, I love desert locations. It doesn't matter if it's gaming or if it's movies. Desert. Love deserts. So Alfheim is separated in 3 areas: the desert, the Forbidden Sands, and the Ring Temple and Canyon. I kinda lump into one, to be honest. This goes without saying, this place is gorgeous. And you might get tired of hearing me saying this, but it's true. This place is downright gorgeous. From the dark skies with the light of Alfheim piercing through it, from the shimmering sands blowing in the wind, even the goof half that you have to save later in the open sands adds even more beauty to this realm. And I absolutely loved it. R.I.P. to my boy goof half. So our boys make their way to the top of the temple, and along the way the game makes you know that they don't discriminate, because in the last one you are fighting the dark elves, and in this one the light elves are catching these hands. But damn, they ain't holding back at all. They've been whooping the dog out of me at some points. Side note, for this area, like when you're looting tiers, like what the hell is your father doing over there? These little simple touches makes you feel like they're actual human beings with actual thoughts and emotions. I'm looking at you, wet fart of a personality, Aloy. So after getting my ass kicked by these elves and solving baby's first puzzles, and Tia proving even more how much of a bitch she is, talking about some salutations, my brethren. Nobody had no time for that, throw some hands. Then we reach to the top of the temple and reaches Groa's shrine. So they enter and see the prophecy that Groa hid from Odin. That means Ragnarok isn't the destruction of all 9 realms, but that's the destruction of Asgard and Asgard alone. And Tia is upset about this for some reason. And in my mind I was like, this is kinda dumb. After this man trapped you and tortured you for years upon years, you upset that Ragnarok means the death of Odin and Asgard? Yeah, you're trying to be a pacifist and all and totally against war. And at this point in time it didn't make sense to me. But we soon will find out why. So we head back down the temple fighting more light elves and Kratos turning into Dolphin Man. And then get jumped by some dark elves because dark elves still have some beef with us, and head back into Sindri's house, where they all settle in to have a meal. And Tia scheming as out here doing the most calling Atreus champion, knowing very well that will piss Kratos off, which he did. Then Atreus grew some hair on his nuts trying to raise his voice at his father talking about I ain't hungry no more. Side note, as a Trinidadian youth, when it comes to your parents, if you even consider to conceptualize the thought of forming an idea of contemplation of even entertaining the notion of raising your voice to your mother or father, they will send you on a side quest to fetch your own teeth because they just knocked it the hell out. He then storms off into his room like an angsty teenager. I'm even surprised he didn't even train, I hate you, dad. Ugh. And then raging out in his room acting a fool. Then Sindri knows he has blipped into existence, telling him, you know what you should do right now? Go to bed. So he takes his ass to bed lying down holding a giant's marble. And said giant's marble transports him into Jotunheim. And boy, well, where do I even begin with this next section? The fact that my capture card actually protested not recording any audio and glitching out at some points was a sign for what's to come. For this section, ironwood. First things first, you know most devs will hype up a game regardless of its flaws and shortcomings. The fact that Eric Williams, the lead director not Trinidad's first prime minister, when asked about this section, he flat out said it's very divisive and a lot of people will think it sucks. Which is very bold and very honest, which I respect. But I fall into the category saying that this section absolutely and completely sucks. Problem number 1, it is too damn long. Too damn long. 2 almost 3 hours of Atreus gameplay? Look, don't get me wrong, I love the aspect of playing with Atreus. Didn't really find this section all that fun and engaging from a gameplay point of view. It just feels like you're playing as unlimited Kratos to be exact. I know this was the dev's intention, but it simply wasn't fun. Because I'm a simple man, I'm just playing a game seeking fun. But if you find riding around on a yak fetching berries fun, more power to you. The whole time while I'm playing Ironwood, which was a beautiful area by the way, with these huge rough looking trees and wild creatures scurrying about and the way that the sun hits the land in a stunning golden rays, hands down my favorite place to look at in this game, 10 out of 10. But as I was saying, the whole time while I was in Ironwood, all I could be thinking about is what is Kratos doing right now. That says a lot about the place I'm currently in and who I'm with. Mind you, when I'm saying who I'm with, I'm not talking about Atreus, I ain't even talking about Yala. But allow me to introduce to you Agraboda, the presenter. I call her the presenter because on 5 separate times this girl had to show Atreus something. All jokes aside, Agraboda was a bit meh for me. Honestly found her a bit boring to be honest. I honestly don't know what it is, but something about her just didn't click with me, you know? I honestly believe whoever wrote her lines was not around a teenage girl in years, because some of the lines they give her was some of the most cringiest dialogues I ever heard in my life. For example, things like this.
It's not so lively around here.
Guess I'm just lucky.
Nah, you're just Loki.
Jesus, stop the pain. Really and truly, I found that Tress more of a likable character than her. I'm sorry she wasn't all that memorable to me. A matter of fact, she was so forgettable that I actually forgot to mention her in the character model section earlier, which I wasn't all that fond of, to be honest. I like the idea of Agroboda and what her role in the story supposed to be, but the execution was a bit off in my humble opinion. And in terms of Ironwood, one thing that could improve this section is to cut some shit out, and I know exactly where to. You see this sinkhole right here? It could right off. I looked at it and I was like, this section is completely padding bullshit. It didn't even have any interesting backstory or anything intriguing. The game basically gives you a broom and a scoop and said, here, go do some chores and carry a friend with you. I know this section is trying to build a relationship between Atreus and Agroboda, but I honestly felt like it fell flat. I know in the future they may want to drop a spin-off game for Atreus and Agroboda akin to something like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, or Uncharted Lost Legacies. But if this is the basis of what is to come in the future, I'm not saying I'm not going to be excited because come on, it's my boy Atreus. I'm just saying there's a lot of room for improvement, and I mean a lot of room for improvement. So before the sinkhole section, Agroboda took us up to a cliff to drop some knowledge on Atreus, letting him know that the marbles that he have been collecting in the shrines, there's a lot more. And these marbles are no regular marbles, because these marbles are actually the giants that put their souls into them just to hide away from Odin. So all those dead giants we saw in the end of 2018 wasn't dead from slaughter, they were just actually hiding away in fear from Odin. I was like, damn! This is the kind of shit I needed from here. This is the kind of bombshell moment I needed that answered a lot of questions. But wait, there's more. This sack right here, these aren't all the giant marbles. There are a lot more, and it is Atreus' responsibility to find them all and find out what to do with them. And I was like, if this ain't a sequel or a spin-off bait, I don't know what is. Also, I was happy for the character of Atreus because he finally got some answers about his heritage and where all his people went. Also, with getting all this info, he got tasked with a huge responsibility, and the fate of his ancestors literally rests on his shoulders. Cause to be honest, if this was me in this situation, I would be shitting bricks immediately. Alright, so fast forward past the sinkhole. The sinkhole, I really hate this section, to be honest. I'm already not a big fan of Ironwood, and then a place like the flicking sinkhole has to exist in it. But I digress. After coming out the sinkhole, out of nowhere a wolf get blicked and dragged away. And then Agroboda explains that her grandmother is the one who has been kidnapping wolves and stealing their souls basically to play Wolf Simulator. Atreus puts on his big boy pants and says, look, I ain't burying no more wolves this winter, so bring your ass and let's go save that wolf. So then go to grandma's house and where they see the snake. And at this point is where they literally give birth to young boy Yomi, who literally throws up the deuces and basically bounces his ass out of there. And Atreus standing there like he expecting his things to strap up and help him fight Agroboda's grandmother. Speaking of which, it was a great boss battle. It was a great change of pace from what I like to call the hit-dodge kind of bosses. Cause the main focus of this battle ain't even her, it's the cauldron that she's carrying which is the source of her powers. I had a lot of fun battling her. Also, the area that you get to fight her in is her kitchen, with the counter and the floor being the main areas you get to maneuver. Her attacks are really her throwing projectiles, AoE attacks that cover either the floor or the counter, or if you get close to her, she will run up and try to stomp the shit out of you. So we end up destroying her cauldron, and Granny was pissed off cause she straight up started cussing out her granddaughter. I mean like cussing. She was like, your daddy ain't shit, your mama ain't shit, you ain't shit, your little boyfriend ain't shit, his daddy ain't shit, this little snake right here ain't shit, all of y'all ain't shit. So they shake the spot and they race each other home having a good time overall. And I'm like, damn Agroboda, you ain't just got your ass cussed out by your own granny a few minutes ago? Like damn, take a few seconds to process that, huh? So they then reach home and Atreus was like, hey baby girl, I'm looking to bounce. I've been gone way too damn long. My father probably looking to whoop my ass. I need to go. And she was like, alright king, say less. All you gotta do is hold on to this here marble and say home. But your ass better come back and look for me sometime. And my mans was like home, and whoosh, he's back home. But the home he was back at wasn't the real home he wanted to go to. He was actually back at the house in Midgard with these ugly ass hellwalkers. He tried running his sorry ass into the misted gateway like a little bitch. But who could he bump into? Papito Kratos. And my boys, this was the first time I swear Kratos was going to physically assault his son. Because if this was my father, all now so I would have been planning my own funeral. So they both dive headfirst into argument. And those hellwalkers was like, hey boy, we still here now and we are coming for that ass. So they fight them off and out of nowhere Valkyrie just dropped out of the sky and starts stomping the shit out of Kratos. So we get to scrapping and her moveset is basic Valkyrie moveset like, sword slashes, arrow shots, magic. This is the first time I ever saw a Valkyrie using that much magic. And I was like, who the hell is this? And mid-fight Kratos realized it was Freya's crazy ass again. She basically disarms him and was about to slit his throat. Alright, hold up. Remember earlier when I said I was going to save my anger for a later part? This is that part. This review is going to fall completely apart just like my last one, because I'm about to tear this whole Vanaheim section to shreds. Freya has to be one of the most absolute super duper XL Pro Max Plus Ultra dumbest person in the existence of every single thing that ever was. You have been plotting for the past 3 winters on how to kill this man and his son. What is stopping you right now? This made no sense. Oh my god, make it make sense. Okay, I understand you don't got all your powers and the only one who can carry it to Vanaheim is Kratos through the mystic gateways. So here's an idea, Freya, since you ain't thinking straight. Kill Kratos, sorry ass, take his travel stone to Vanaheim, turn into bird bitch so you won't get ripped out of that realm, find your brother, let him help you regain your powers, boom bam, mission accomplished. But you there viewer might be saying, but Francis, how would she know to do that? And Kratos and the gang the only ones know that realm travel is possible? And I would say no, Freya knows as well, because Atreus' bitch ass told her earlier. This whole forgiveness arc pissed me the hell off so much. This section of Vanaheim is such a beautiful place, but it was so uncomfortable because every second I think this crazy bitch is going to come and claw out my eyes. And you know what's the sad part about it? I actually wanted her to. You know why? Because it would actually make some damn sense. For me, and me personally, this whole section made Baldur death literally meaningless. It just looked like the writers looked for any excuse, and I mean any excuse for Freya to forgive your boys. Speaking of the writers, this whole plot point of forgiveness, I honestly believe they just went home, cracked one of the wettest fart in a sheet of paper, came into the office the next day and say, here this is what we're going to do with Freya. I know they were debating on how much games they were going to make in the Norse saga, whether it would be 1 or 2, and I know they end up settling on 2. And the decision to make 2 games literally hurt this part, because the whole Freya forgiveness arc was just rushed to make later story elements happen. I know there's an old saying, if you don't have advice, don't criticize. Because for this section I got no advice for it, because you all basically wrote yourself into a wall with this one. But that still don't change the fact that this part was straight up dookie water. But let's move on because my blood pressure getting a little too high at the moment. So they went to Vanaheim to help Freya get back her powers. We meet our brother Freya and his weak-ass gang like, I don't know what spirit possessed these fools to convince them that they are warriors, but most of them just look homeless. So they make their way to the place where Freya powers are being held. And a big lizard dragon-ass creature called a Needhogg pops out of nowhere looking for some smoke. And yeah, wherever it was a great boss battle, not going to lie. Best one up to this point, might I add. Not going to go through it beat for beat because right now I'm just kind of pissed off because after this fight, the conversation that Kratos and Freya had, I'm not going to rant again, but the only advice I could possibly give, if you all wanted Freya to forgive Kratos at some point in the story, this point in time right here wasn't the right point in time because it just happened too damn fast and out of nowhere. It hurts me to say this, but I honestly hated it. So they went back to Sindri's house, and Kratos confronted Atreus on where he sneaked off to the other night. And Kratos jumped into conclusions and implying Atreus went to Asgard. And Atreus was like, no, I didn't go to Asgard. A matter of fact, what's wrong if I did go to Asgard? Because last time I checked, you don't have no answers for me. Odin is the only one that can help me right now. And he storms off calling his father an asshole. And this was the first time I felt like I could jump through the TV screen and whoop this boy's ass. But I digress. Then everyone ganged up on him and basically told him he must be 10 types of stupid if he wants to go to Asgard. Then Kratos come all up in his face talking about choose who you want to be. But he wasn't trying to hear all of that. He then turns into a big ass bear again, slaps Sindri up the head and runs off like a little bitch to Freya's old home, where he met Hugin. You know Hugin, the little bird that Odin has? The little pet bird that flies into his hands and becomes the Tattoogen. So Atreus' emotional ass basically betrayed his family and left Midgard to go to Asgard to find Odin. Ain't that about a bitch? Okay guys, so last time I checked, this is the halfway point of the game. And judging by this thumbnail right here, this says part 1. So the review will take a little pause because let's be honest, this game is a little chunky. But have no fear, part 2 is in the works as we speak. And in that part, I will finish the story because trust me, I have a lot to say about this so-called Ragnarok. But that's our story for our next day. We'll cover the gameplay and combat and everything else within the game in the second part. So in terms of the story, so far there's been a lot of stumbles along the way than there were victories. Ironwood and Freya's forgiveness being the two ultimate culprits. But all that is in the past. Right now I just want to say thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. As I told you before, I'm trying to get these watch hours up and these subscribers up. Love you all who subscribe. Love you all who are going to subscribe. I hope you all enjoy the video. Please comment below y'all to let me know if you all agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video. Feel free. And I just want you all to know, I'm gonna catch your ass in the next video.